And one politician who is definitely in the news today is President Trump. And that is because he let everybody know that he is uninviting the Super Bowl champion, my Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, to the White House for their celebration. So this happens every time a major team wins a national championship. They have a day where they're invited to the White House for a tour. They meet the president. It's a big day for the organization they're a part of, a big day for the umbrella organization, which in this case is the NFL. And then, of course, the players who are getting recognized for their amazing achievement on the field, the court, what have you. Well, he said, you are no longer invited, and it's because of all of the national anthem drama that some may say he started in the first place when he was so upset with how players were protesting. Well, the latest development in this, besides the fact that they are no longer invited, is that only 10 Eagles players were going to show up in the first place. This is on a team of about 70 to 80 men. And then in addition to that, normally thousands of fans will come to this event, either standing outside or actually get to be on the White House grass. Well, yeah, only 1,000 were going to go. It was going to be a smaller delegation. So people are asking the question, why did President Trump cancel the event? Was it because people were, or he was upset about the national anthem protest? Or was he upset because the party he was throwing was going to be a little bit smaller than he had anticipated? So that's a question I have for you guys. Why do you think President Trump canceled the big fiesta for the Philadelphia Eagles? Was it because of the national anthem protest, or was it because his party just wasn't going to have a lot of people there?
Oh, no.
I know.
That's so sad, because in my mind, if I were going to have a party and not everyone showed up, the people who showed up are the people who I party for, and I make that the best party.
Can I get a low five?
There you go. I make that the best party that they could, because there were still 1,000 people. There were still 1,000 of his probably supporters and Eagles fans. There were 10 players that still wanted to go. Why didn't he just celebrate the people that agreed with him instead of punishing everybody? It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So you threw everything away?
Exactly.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but then there's that other side of looking at it as, hey, why am I going to invest my time and energy into just a small portion of a large organization who I feel is, and the president has the right to feel the way he wants to feel, and he feels that they were disrespecting him, our military, by not standing up when the flag was playing. But here's the thing, or when the flag's up and the national anthem's playing. But no one on the Eagles team kneeled for the national anthem. So that argument can be thrown out the window, because it's like, wait, so what are you arguing about? The fact that they put fists up, some of them put fists up, it's a way of silent protesting. So at the end of the day, this is about the kneeling. And this is about the party. And I think, to answer your question clearly, if it's not about the kneeling because no one kneeled, then it must be about the party size. I don't know what else it would be.
I hear you.
I mean, I don't want to say that our president, maybe, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's what it's about, but it's, maybe he's taking a stand there, both sides.
Against the NFL.
I feel like he would never come out and be like, well, I canceled it because nobody was interested in coming to my party. I don't see him saying that. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he says about why.
After the inauguration, that one picture that came out that he tweeted comparing the size of the people represented at his inauguration versus former President Obama, and that got him riled up. And so it was one of the staffers for, I believe it was the governor in Pennsylvania, if not the mayor in Philadelphia, that tweeted out a picture side by side of his inauguration day versus how many people showed up to the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl parade. And they were like, I think it's clear why President Trump canceled this party in the first place. But he didn't cancel it, guys. Here's the thing. He's changing the name of it, and now he wants to turn it into a celebration of America and America's military. And this is not the first time he's tried to say that he wanted to turn a day into a day about the military and about American pride.
Which I'm not opposed to. I'm all here for the military.
July 4th legitimately exists for that purpose.
But you can celebrate the day. You can celebrate our nation every day of the year if you want to.
It's just like, how many tax dollars are you going to allocate to celebrating that day?
They put their lives on the line and die for us, so I don't think it's like necessarily saying that they're not worth that.
No, I think that maybe that money, and this might be getting into the weeds, but maybe that money could be used to actually support the troops and help get them the better equipment that they desire, or the veterans the health care that they desperately want.
Sure, there's a lot of ways.
Having a
Are
party.
you talking about the military show parade?
Oh, no, this is another one.
Oh, okay.
So he did want to have that military show parade, but now this one, he wants to change it from the celebration of the Philadelphia Eagles into this commemoration and celebration of America itself.
They're saying at 3 o'clock today they're going to play the national anthem and celebrate that. But if that's what you're doing, that's pretty short. I mean, the national anthem's not that long.
No.
But I got to tell you, who is happy about this change? Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. The fans of the Philadelphia Eagles cannot be happy about this. The kids that show up, there's a lot of the NFL Players Association. They put out a statement saying we're very disappointed in this because we are going to have to cancel many events with player and fan interactions after this. The players are already there because this is supposed to happen today.
Right.
So they canceled last night.
Yeah.
So the players that are going, that believe strongly in meeting the president and celebrating the win, the Super Bowl win, a huge one, by the way, for Philadelphia itself. Philadelphia can't be happy about this. The NFL could not be happy about this because this is a big day for them.
The mayor's not happy about this.
The mayor certainly is not happy about this. He clapped back.
I'm just struggling to understand what the big win in all of this is if we're celebrating the Philadelphia Eagles, who did not kneel during the entire season, which is saying something, which actually advocates his position. Do not kneel during the national anthem. The Philadelphia Eagles players said, okay, then they win the Super Bowl, then they're ready to show up, and he cancels on them.
Okay, so I have to say something.
I'm struggling to understand how something that could be so positive has now turned into a big negative because a lot of people were looking forward to this.
It's a way for the players who aren't going, whether it was about the flag or not. They just may not like the president. And so it's a form of protest. Just like kneeling during the national anthem is a form of protest against what they're originally talking about, which is police brutality against black communities.
Tom Brady didn't go last year. He's the best quarterback of all time. And he's also friends with the president, or at least has been associated with the president, and he didn't go because he was busy.
And
so
you don't have to go.
To assume that all those players are going because they're against what you believe is a big assumption. And again, I mean, I'm just saying this is a big positive thing, and now it's been turned into this thing.
Political?
Yeah, exactly. It's turned political, and you got to feel. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles have worked really hard for this.
Amen.
And the players they're already there.
Yes, the 10 that were going to go are either in Philadelphia and we're going to take an Amtrak, or we're already there.
Okay.
But I will say this. The reporting about this story in the news has been pretty easy to do. You just tell the story as it is. However, Fox News put together a B-roll presentation, which I think we have footage of to show you, where when they're talking about these protests, they speak about the Eagles protesting the national anthem, and they show footage of Philadelphia Eagles players kneeling on the screen. This paints a picture of maybe the Eagles actually did protest and take a knee, whereas what actually happened is what you see right now on your screen. Malcolm Jenkins and some of the other players stood with their fist raised. And so people are coming out saying, whoa there, Fox News, you're painting us in a negative light. One of those people is Zach Ertz. I believe he's a tight end. And correct me if I'm wrong, Walt Gray, who's more of a sports guy. But he is one of the Philadelphia Eagles players who was part of the Super Bowl winning team. And he came out and tweeted, "Are you kidding me? You're taking footage from our prayer, which happens long before the national anthem, and this is on field. You're taking that and misrepresenting us. Why we are really here and why we are really doing this is to express our feelings about how black men and women are the targets of more aggression from the police than any other subset of the American population. That's what we're protesting. This has nothing to do with it."
Yeah, it's funny how the conversation flipped. I do want to go back. I'm paying attention to viewer comments here, and a lot of people are asking, why are we talking about this? So I guess we need to refresh for those who just joined.
Yeah.
The president actually disinvited the Philadelphia Eagles from attending a celebration. You know, this, I guess today was the day they were supposed to do it. They were there, ready to go, and I think only 10 players showed up out of a team of maybe 80. And so that's why we're talking about it for you this morning. I saw a couple of people asking why that was January. Why are we talking about this now? So I want to make sure Bradley, and I saw a couple of other people asking, why are we talking about this now? Because the event was supposed to be held today at 3 o'clock, and it was canceled last night. So this is just like us keeping you up to date on what happened, because since the Super Bowl, we haven't seen that usual every year whoever wins the Super Bowl goes to the White House. Looks like this year that's not happening.
A lot of the players have said months ago when they won that they weren't going to go. It wasn't new. It wasn't news that people weren't going to show up. The news today is the reaction to them canceling last minute. And I have to read this. This is Trump. This is Fox News responding to them using that B-roll of the players kneeling and how that's misrepresenting. They said, "During our report about President Trump canceling the Philadelphia Eagles trip to the White House to celebrate their Super Bowl win, we showed unrelated footage of players kneeling in prayer. They did acknowledge it. To clarify, no members of the team knelt in protest during the national anthem throughout the regular or postseason last year. We apologize for the error.
And whether this was intentional or not, the way in which it works here in television news, the producers will write and put some content together in what we call a rundown. And then that's on one side of the room typically. Typically, I can't say how they do it at Fox News, but I'm imagining, because we're in the business, editors on the other side of the room are going, okay, let me match up what the writing is saying to some video that we have in our backlog. So they get video, they're talking about kneeling. Oh, look, here's kneeling. So these two parties aren't necessarily coordinating all the time, and that could have been what happened here, or it could have been intentional. I don't know.
Yeah, I will tell you this. Coming here to ABC 10, I think I'm like probably the newest person here. At other stations, sometimes people will do that. They're real file footage, like, oh, just get someone kneeling. Here at ABC 10, I noticed they are very intentional with their video editing. They want, if we are saying it, they want our viewers to see it, and I appreciate that. So that they minimize situations like this from happening. If I'm going to say that, exactly, they're very intentional about it, and I really appreciate that. So that way we can give our viewers the best representation of what is actually happening. No fake news here, baby.
Right. The worst thing you could do in journalism is offer a correction or a retraction. So it sounds like that's what happened there.
But I'd rather them do that than not acknowledge it at all.
The reason why we're talking about this, number one, what's bigger than Trump? Nothing's bigger than Trump in the daily news cycle. Whatever he does makes the news. And what's bigger than the Super Bowl? So you have that combination of superpowers in news and how they are interacting today. That's why we're covering it.
Let me also get to these viewer comments, because I'm watching you guys, and I am here for you. Britt Hervey, shout out to her. She's back. She's my friend from college. She's watching. She said, Max Kellerman gave a great point, that this is just a distraction from President Trump saying that he can pardon himself.
Oh, I mean, there is a lot of stuff coming out with the Mueller investigation that is not being covered in the news.
That was huge. We covered it yesterday at 9 and midday. Thanks for those of you who watched, because we're following this. Thinking that the president can pardon himself for a crime he may or may not have committed. We need to stay woke. Stay woke on that. So thank you, Brittany, for bringing that back up. This could be a distraction. I notice how sometimes in this administration, something huge like that will happen, and then something else will get like a firestorm comment. And it reminds me of the Childish Gambino video, This is America. You're so distracted by his dancing in the front that you forget that people are being killed.
But there are a lot of people in this country who are opposed to that, that way of thinking, right? And they're going, no, that this is the news of the day. This is what everyone's talking about. America is obsessed with more. He is a reality star in the beginning of all of this before becoming president. So we as a culture are intrigued by these sorts of stories. And when you get into investigations and that sort of thing, it's more of a niche market of people. So you have to understand that side as well.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But which one has more weight on our society? The president pardoning himself from crimes that he committed, or him disinviting a football team to the White House?
You have to ask the people that.
Remember how we started off the
What do you guys care about more?
That's a good question.
We're talking about voting and time. Time is our most precious resource, and there's only so much time in the news to cover things. So it makes covering this or that very difficult, because, in fact, they're all important.
Yeah, there might be a 24-hour news cycle, but especially in local news, we don't have the luxury of being able to present that to you on the television screen 24 hours. We're always there on our digital platform for you guys, abc10.com. But people who seek out all of that information, I'm sure that they are abreast of both topics.
Perfect. I'm going to get to some viewer comments right now. Sylvia, I'm going to read them because that's what you guys are saying. She was like, who cares about whether or not President Trump and disinvited? She was like, the players, they get millions of dollars. Our real heroes are our soldiers of all branches of the military. I'll give a clap for that. Keeping our freedom. That's real. James Knoll said, mandatory military draft for all citizens. No more snowflakes. And interesting. Jessica, shout out. Jessica's talking. I love when they're talking. I think Jessica, David, and somebody
Jessica's
else,
like trying to protect.
Brady and Rob, they're having a whole conversation in the comments.
Always
do y'all.
Jessica was very supportive of you, Kirsten, and what you said. And then she quotes, "This is America" also.
There we go. Let's shout out Stephen Floyd. He says they canceled because he's talking about the president here. He's an awful example of a leader, a person who had a chance to unite and hear the reasons these players kneeled, but instead chose to condemn them and further divide between Americans. That's a point.
Thanks so much for watching the ABC 10 Information Network. If you want to see more stories just like this one, all you've got to do is click subscribe.